replay that moment over and over and over again. The missed opportunity, the botched attempt, that failed exam. It felt like the end of the road, yet hidden in the pain was a lesson you couldn't yet see. How do you find the fortune in your failures? We are joined by Renier Wessels, Microsoft MVP, CASA, Automation Specialist, Technologist, and SAICA Top 35 Under 35 finalist in 2023. We chat about the fortune of his failure during his studies and how we can look back at our academic failures more as blessings and less as burdens. We also chat about how arguably the top technologist in the CA profession repeated his third year of his degree, his challenges while working in New York away from his family and home, what Renier does as a CA technologist, his journey of qualifying as a CA, and, of course, more. I hope you enjoy. My travelers on the road to CASA. I hope you're having a lovely week and that you enjoy, the upcoming Valentine's Day with your BF book flags. Of course. Guys, please don't forget to actually follow the show and share if this thing is adding value with anyone who's navigating on their CA journey. We need to just grow this community. I believe that we can, together, we can make it better. We can become better together. So I would really appreciate it if you guys gave it a follow, shared it. It would mean the world to me and everyone else who's an aspiring CA and wants to get the most value. It gets us better guests and it gets us better means to be able to serve. So please do share and follow. On to the episode. Welcome back, my people. This is the Road to CA podcast, the show for aspiring chartered accountants to inspire, empower, and inform the difference makers of tomorrow. Guys, today we're joined by the Technologist, someone who's had a passion for emerging tech for as long as he's wanted to become a CA. Yes, he is a CASA, and note how I said the Technologist. He's not just any innovator. His love for simplifying, standardizing, and automating processes has made him a SAICA Top 35 Under 35 for 2023. He also has a passion for Excel and has achieved 15th place in the Microsoft Excel World Championship back in 2021. He's currently the head of automation and digital consulting at Bidvest Ellis. Most importantly, though, he likes to play guitar. He loves to sing and to scuba dive in his spare time. And he's also the father of one special little girl. We're joined by the Microsoft MVP. We're joined by Renier Wessels. Renier, how are you, man?
Thanks, Alunga. Thanks for that great introduction. I'm excellent, thank you. And it's a huge honor and a pleasure to be part of your podcast. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to our discussion.
It's a privilege for me. I chatted to you just earlier about this, but I'm about to speak to, and this is my thought before coming here, an expert in a field that is so inextricably linked with our futures, like the whole automation, tech, AI. Like, I'm looking forward to showing and discussing with you how the future, the future of tech is going to affect our lives as aspiring CAs and CAs, obviously. Let's go back. This is what we do at the Road to CA. First, we go back. So rewind to where this whole CA thing started for you.
Yeah. So when I was at school, I essentially picked my subjects in grade 9 with the aspirations of potentially becoming a chartered accountant or studying programming and multimedia, because I've always loved design and those elements as well. So but when I was in matric, I had the opportunity to do like a holiday school training thing with PwC back then, and I loved everything about it. And because of that, I applied for a bursary, and PwC actually granted me a study bursary in my matric year, and that so I think Deloitte also offered me a bursary, but I decided to stick with PwC because of the road that I've walked in, and I loved everything about the office and the brand. It was back in the mainland office, and I'm very happy that I did that, because the choice for me was either becoming a programmer or a computer scientist, or like a multimedia expert, which involves programming and design as well, or becoming a CA. But I back then already decided, why not both? So I actually told my mom in matric that I want to combine technology and programming and automation and things like that one day in my career, and I had the opportunity to make that a reality. And I think a lot I have to say thanks to PwC a lot, because they always embraced that
the innovation side.
That innovation side in me, yes. So that's where it all started. So then I studied at the University of Pretoria, Tix of Nix, and absolutely loved it. I think it was immensely challenging, but the results show. And I'm very good friends with a lot of the Tux lecturers, and a lot of the alumni, still very proud Tucky. And yeah, I studied there, and I actually had to. I told you earlier, I actually had to redo my third year, because I just barely missed the honors requirements, because Tux has such high honors requirements. I barely missed it. I remember still fighting with the lecturer to give me 2 more marks to literally get me in. But that didn't happen. But I'm very happy that it happened, because that gave me the opportunity to fix my foundation, and it helped me immensely with my honors and my it was still the QE and the PPE back then, which is now the ITC and the APC. But it helped me fix the foundations, and it taught me a lot about what's important around being a CA, and that's having the ability to be agile and resilient when you are faced with adversity, right? So yeah, I redid my third year to get into honors, got into honors, got my honors first time, got my 2 exams first time as well, did my articles through PwC in the mainland offices as well, and then had the unique opportunity to travel to New York City, and I did my my secondment in New York in the Manhattan office, 300 Madison Avenue. And that was amazing.
That sounds so cool.
It was amazing.
300 Madison Avenue. It just sounds like a movie.
So I had the opportunity to work on the largest insurance provider in the Western Hemisphere. The audit fee is like, I think it's more than the whole of South Africa. The whole of South Africa's audit. PwC South Africa's audit fee. Yes. But it was an amazing experience, and I even used automation and programming there while I was there, and built something for them to assist with the audit of the consolidation process of the group. So yeah, it's been an amazing journey. I came back to South Africa mostly because of my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time.
Did you leave her to go to New York?
Yeah, so
did you not? You didn't take her with.
I didn't take her with.
It must have been tough. Hey?
Yeah, it was tough. I think the biggest thing that nobody tells you, or that you don't know, because I thought we'll have Zoom and we'll have Skype. Back then it was still like Skype. We didn't really have Zoom and stuff. But this was 2015, I think. And I told her it's fine. We'll just talk every day. And the challenge was the timing difference was
like 6 hours.
Yeah, that was difficult. And then also the fact that I couldn't physically touch someone for like months. that I didn't realize how hectic that would be. Not to have a hug for like 3 months was rough.
Yeah.
So I came back, very happy that I came back, and I started as an audit manager, and I worked as an audit manager for quite a couple of years. But I kept on keeping the programming and development and design thinking, innovation, automation in the back of my mind. I continued presenting training around technologies, especially Excel and stuff like that, at PwC as well, and then
Eventually you founded that innovation committee.
I joined what they called audit transformation at the time. I think it was either assurance transformation or audit transformation, depending on. But it was for the whole of Africa, and that was essentially to bring emerging tech to South Africa from the global side from a PwC perspective. But then we essentially branched out into the audit innovation team, and I led that team. So they're still going. I still have good mates there that are busy on the audit innovation side. Roger Wiley was one of my colleagues back then as well that worked.
He's also a CA now as well.
Yeah. So Roger, I think he was also on your podcast a bit.
The one that I didn't launch.
Oh, the one you didn't launch.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll come back for a.
Hopefully,
for a
I've actually been chatting with him. Probably next year sometime.
Okay, perfect. But yeah, so we were essentially innovating the auditing space, and then Bidvest approached me. And they told me about Alice. And
had they already started?
Yeah, so Alice started back in 2016 already. So Alice had been, when I joined it was still a bit of a startup, but Alice had been properly running for a couple of years before I joined.
They had a tool built.
Yes, so the platform was running automatically already before I joined, and essentially it was the initial premise was to innovate and automate the IT audit space within Bidvest, because the Bidvest group is so large. The team of internal audit, which was centralized at a point in time, it took them 2.5 years to audit just the IT spaces within the Bidvest group. So an audit cycle would take 2.5 years, and that's not effective.
No.
But now what used to take 2.5 years is done daily. So there's an automation element around the ingestion of the data from the entire Bidvest group on a daily basis, and then reporting around that. But the platform essentially allows as well for automated reporting and also maintenance of findings or management of findings. So it becomes a management tool, and it becomes an IT tool as well, because it alerts the IT teams of potential cyber and security and patch management and password management, etc. So threats or risks in the entities. And then they have the ability to interact with the findings as well, to say, this is a false finding because of this, or the finding has been mitigated because of this. So yes, so I'm responsible, you said it, head of automation and digital consulting. So I'm responsible for some of the sales and ad hoc work as well, alongside with one of my colleagues, Frans Geldenhuys. We take most of the ad hoc work in sales, and we make that happen. So a lot of the digitalization and innovation around external clients as well, because we're not only Bidvest facing, but we're also external client facing. And then for the Bidvest group itself, we are responsible for a lot of the IT and cybersecurity risk management and auditing around that. So I essentially report into Lauren Barrington, who's the Chief Audit Executive of the Bidvest Group, but also the MD of Bidvest Advisory Services, which houses Bidvest Alice, which is the platform. So I hope that makes sense.
Sure. So many threads. I'm going to go back.
Okay.
I want to go back specifically to your third year, because now there's this huge mass of your journey. It's amazing. I want to zero in on that time that you repeated. There's this idea that I've been thinking about a lot lately, which is this idea around failure's fortune. So even though you did not quote unquote fail, because obviously you literally you just missed that accounting mark, you could have went to another university. You still say that was a blessing. And I think too also my repeating now this year about how the whole idea of failure is actually really important, because let's say you get lucky and you didn't put in all the work, but you get through, right? You didn't put in as much work, you didn't get as technically competent, but you get through. Let's say, for an example, you win the lottery, right? You win the lottery. You've never managed money, you've never worked for your money, but you win the lottery. And now you're rich. Or even as another example, you have a test and your test gets miscounted and you actually pass without having obviously put in the work, without having actually been technically competent. You pass the test, and now you get through. So all of these are like little lucky moments where you get through. The problem with that is that the universe is always going to be in equilibrium. And the sad thing about those little wins, those little counterfeit wins, is that you will be the balancing figure when the universe balances itself. The lottery money, you're going to blow it. You're going to go bankrupt because you didn't understand actually what it takes to wield wealth, nor did you actually have the competence to even make the wealth. So that side, boom, you're done. You actually go and you fail the exam because your counterfeit past lulled you into thinking that you're actually okay, you're all right. You rested on your laurels, not that you even had laurels to begin with. And so when you fail, it's so important to see it as an amazing God-given gift that, okay, truth is, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for progression. And that is failure's fortune. It's that you now get to go back to the drawing board and you get to strengthen that foundation. So if anyone's in that position, I mean, you are now the head of automation and digital consulting for one of the largest groups in South Africa. You can fail and you can still make it big. You can fail and you can still make it a huge success of your life, especially if you take it as the lesson of, I need to get back to the drawing board. I need to go back.
I think you summed it up perfectly. And I think if you go and take a look back at very successful people in the past, not just CAs, people in general, people in business, etc. I think all of them had a failure point somewhere, at least, right? And it's so true. I think it's important because I realized, okay, so let me track back. I got all distinctions in all my subjects in matric. I passed first year flying colors, got golden key and everything, got high 90s for things. I mean, I got 106% in stats end exam, stats 120. So I did really, really well. And then in second year, things came crashing down a little bit because of I lost a good friend in a car accident, and that made me sort of go back to saying, well, I can't be all study. I need to spend time with my loved ones, and I need to have balance. But then my balance went out a little bit too much, and in second year the cracks started to show already. So in second year I did okay. I didn't do badly, but I didn't have a good enough foundation for third year. And then third year came and the cracks started showing like like crazy. So I mean, if you build a wall with the wrong mix of sand and cement, the cracks will only show when the pressure starts coming, right?
Yeah.
The cracks will only show when the winds come, or when that wall becomes under pressure. When you put the roof on top of it, and the extreme weather comes, etc. And the same goes for studying. So I told you earlier as well, 1 year in your career is nothing.
Yeah.
So taking 1 year to just go back and say, I need to fix the foundations, and I need to now realize I need to be serious about this. It makes a world of difference. So I'm very happy that happened to me, because I made very good friends that I'm still friends with now. People who made a huge impact in my life. And I had the opportunity to actually fix I fixed the cracks that surfaced in my second, third year, or in my first third year. My first third year, I can't believe I passed. When I look back at it, my second, third year, I did much better. I think I improved all my marks by 20%.
Yeah.
So I got into honors with 70s and high 70s, as opposed to 50s and mid 50s, right? So that was a lot better for me. And if I hadn't done that, the cracks would have shown later on, when it was a lot tougher to fix. When you get to your honors degree, it's a lot tougher to fix cracks that started happening in your second year or your first year already. And once you get into practice, and you have to fix a failed ITC, for instance, that's a lot tougher. Writing ITC the second time, you don't have as much study leave. You're under work pressure as well. It's a lot tougher. So it's better to fix the foundations early and realize I need to be serious about this, because things maybe came too easy to me from an academic perspective a bit sooner in my life, right? So I mean, matric was a breeze. Now I get into first year and I failed my first accounting test.
Yeah.
That is a good thing. If you pass all your tests from the get go, you could go and sit on your laurels and realize too late that I should have taken this a lot more seriously in my second year or my third year. So failure is fortune, as you said, and it's such a good learning experience for the rest of your career.
Yeah. You also mentioned that you took a process that would usually take 2.5 years, and you condensed it into days or a day. For me, I'm just thinking about AI. Now, there's a lot of hype around it. Already, when I think about AI, there's this hype around it's gonna replace people, and in a lot of ways, I think about how AI is the only solution for a lot of the situation that we're in. I mean, if you look at the global population, we're having a global population crisis. Populations are declining. I think the fertility rates are 2.5, and the replacement rate's 2.1, and that's getting very, very close. Basically, we are almost at the stage where we're critically declining as populations. So AI is the only way that we can actually replace people and make things more efficient to ensure economies are still operating. We have a shortage of accountants. I mean, that's a huge, huge buzz topic now, and I see AI being that solution, but it's also very scary. It's like a lot of the hype around us, like as students, is, am I going to be relevant? Am I learning things that are going to be relevant in future? What, in your now expert opinion, this is not financial advice. What, in your expert opinion, is myth? Like, what should we not be worried about? What's just hype? And what actually is something we should be paying attention to regarding this?
And look, your question, I mean, I've got so much that I can say around this.
To be continued in part 2. See you next week.